Researchers confirm Hall of Famer Bobby Hull had CTE when he died 2 years ago. Look at that. Hall. He scored a lot of goals in his career, right? Goal, Hull. You see that right there? I grew up watching his son. Here's his son, Brett Hull. Notice how Brett Hull, his son, he's got the August 9th birthday. Is that just like Sidney Crosby? Oh no, Crosby's 8-7. Bobby Hull's got the birthday, Brett Hull's got the birthday 2 days after Sidney Crosby. Both great hockey players. Sidney Crosby's got the Jalen Hurts birthday though, that won the Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts birthday. I think that's Kyler Murray's birthday as well. Arizona Cardinal quarterback. Yeah. So anyways, diagnosed with CTE. The legend Bobby Hull, CTE when he died, according to researchers. Okay, and he died 2 years ago. And these are researchers at Boston University's CTE Center. Found that Hull had stage 2 CTE. So he had stage 2 CTE when he died 2 years ago. Seeing the pain and heartache suffered by his lifetime friend Stan Mikita's family, Bobby felt strongly no other family should have to endure CTE. Deborah Hull, his wife of 39 years, said in a statement he insisted on donating his brain, feeling as though it was his duty to help advance research on this agonizing disease. Okay. So Stan Mikita, that's his lifelong friend. So did he have CTE? We'll just kind of look at this on the fly here. Here's Stan Mikita. Look at how Stan Mikita died August 7, and we just went over those dates on the fly with the Jalen Hurts birthday and the Sidney Crosby birthday. Look at that right there. And Stan Mikita, born the 20th day of the 5th month, like 25. Now we're in the year 25. On the fly, look at that. Died August 7 in Chicago, Illinois. So Stan Mikita died on Sidney Crosby's birthday. How about that? And Sidney Crosby, born 8-7 in the year 87. So Stan Mikita dies on Sidney Crosby's birthday. And 2 days before Bobby's son Brett's birthday. I mean, that's, you see how they connect these players, right? So are they saying Stan Mikita, did Stan Mikita have CTE?
According to WTTW News, in December, researchers at Boston University published a study of deceased male hockey players that showed 18 of the 19 NHL players examined, including Hull, Mikita, Ralph Backstrom,
Wow.
Bob Probert, and Derek Bugard,
And
had
they talk
CTE.
about CTE a lot with football, but an NHL, a very physical sport as well. So, okay. So Stan Mikita, a lifelong friend, they say Seeing the pain and heartache suffered by his longtime friend Stan Mikita's family, Bobby felt strongly no other family should have to endure CTE. All right, so let's am I popular? I don't, probably not. Probably just an email. All right, so watch how I show you these interesting connections here. And no matter who's viewing that last video, the Kuzma and Winnie engagement, shout out to y'all, right? I don't know if y'all are real people. I don't know if it's just a number stamped on the video. But I just took a nap and woke up and I was like, that's cool. It shows like 400 people viewed it during my 1 hour nap. So I'm like, that's cool. People do need to soak up this information, all right? So watch, I got another one here with some interesting connections. I'm going to try to play this video. I've had success with playing these news clips lately with getting the volume, and I'm going to try again, okay? Hopefully I didn't jinx myself.
And near the end of his exalted career, hockey legend Bobby Hull grappled with memory loss and perception issues. Now we know why. His family today announced that Hull tested positive for CTE concussion, the brain disease linked to repetitive head trauma. CTV's Alex Carpa now on the posthumous
CTE
diagnosis that
pops up
Hull
every
shares
now
with
and then.
16 other.
We're starting to get patterns with the CTE stories that just hit as far as like the confusion and the distraction with the world. These CTE stories pop up from time to time, as you know, and then they're quickly swept under the rug as they use sports to distract us, right? And it'll always be that way, it appears.
Former NHL players.
Sandy, he was nicknamed the Golden Jet for his speed and blonde hair. Bobby Hull was one of the most prolific hockey players of his time, playing 7 seasons right here in Winnipeg.
Hull gets through the defense, takes a shot.
Notice how he didn't wear a helmet. And they just made that a rule not too long ago where depending on your experience, now you have to wear a visor or not. But yeah, some of the players used to not wear helmets.
Bobby Hull scored 303 goals for the Winnipeg Jets.
Bobby Hull, the brilliant Chicago left winger.
He also helped the Chicago Blackhawks win the Stanley Cup in 1961. But the two-time NHL most valuable
Notice the teams that they're mentioning, the nicknames.
player's successes on the ice had an impact on him off the ice. Hull struggled with short-term memory loss and impaired judgment over his final decade. Hull had CTE, the news revealed today by his wife over 2 years after his death. Deborah Hull wrote, seeing the pain and heartache suffered by his lifetime friend Stan Mikita's family, Bobby felt strongly no other family should have to endure CTE, and goes on to say he insisted on donating his brain. Boston University CTE Center did a post-mortem analysis on his brain and found that Hull had CTE in the frontal cortex.
Now, speaking of CTE, and even with Boston, remember Boston had Bobby Orr. I'm showing you how these players are all connected. Boston had Bobby Orr, another Bobby. And don't forget, Boston also had Colton Orr, but they say there's no relation. And Colton Orr also played for Toronto, but don't forget he was with Boston. So you see how these names, it doesn't matter if it's hockey. It doesn't matter if it's hockey or what the sport. If you get something trending, they're going to get all of these connections again, right? And remember Stan Mikita, longtime friend of Bobby Hull. Remember he died on Sidney Crosby's birthday, and 2 days before his own son's birthday, Bobby Hull. Okay. So yeah, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter as long if it's trending, it's going to be by these numbers. And look at it. Here's another connection to another story I just did recently. You see Bobby Hull, he's got the January 3rd birthday, just like Cheryl Miller. And this was brought up during the Reggie Miller breakdown recently, as he is going to be the lead game analyst for the NBA on the NBA on NBC starting next season. But you see Reggie's sister Cheryl's got the January 3rd birthday, just like Bobby Hull. And now Bobby Hull is trending. You see that? As Cheryl Miller connected with her brother, obviously, who's trending. Okay? And you see right there, to join NBC Sports as NBA game analyst, Reggie Miller. And that all connected with the Daytona 500. The Pacers of Indiana, the team. Pacers named after the pace car. Obviously, they have the Indianapolis 500 in Indiana, obviously. But you see how all of this stuff just connects by these patterns and by the language, right? And even Bobby Hull, you see his North American Major League professional total of 1,018 goals is the third most of all time. You see that right there? And he's born on the 3rd. Okay? And don't forget, with that birthday, the 3rd day of the 1st month, you see Cheryl Miller has the 31 on her playing jersey. And so does her brother Reggie when he played the 31. Okay? Look at even third most of all time after Wayne Gretzky, Gordie Howe. You get Gretzky, you get Gordie, which rhymes, and Howe, H, Gordie Howe, and then, Bobby Hull. You get the H and the H. Okay? And remember, Hull rhymes with goal, even though it's spelt differently. They score goals, right? And although the NHL does not recognize scoring statistics from the WHA in players' career totals, but nicknamed the Golden Jet, isn't that interesting? And he played for the Jets, one of his teams right there, obviously coming the nickname. Look how he played for the Blackhawks. Are you already seeing where I'm going with this? Blackhawks, Jets, Whalers, the Hartford Whalers. We just had this whale story of the whale engulfing the kayaker, swallowing them and then spitting them out a few seconds later, right? The whale. I think it was like South America, somewhere South America, if I'm not mistaken. But that was trending, and there's a picture from that. I saw the video. It appeared to be real, but we really don't know, right? But Blackhawks, Jets, Whalers. Remember the Black Hawk helicopter that crashed into were they calling it a jet or a plane? Nonetheless, you get the connection, right? And that was synced up with the NHL games as well, as the Blackhawks played. I think it was like right after, like the next day, if I'm not mistaken. And the Winnipeg Jets and the Blackhawks had two separate games that were connected that I put in that breakdown. But Blackhawk crew may have missed key ATC instruction before DC crash. Blackhawk helicopter, like Chicago Blackhawks. So we get this trending Chicago Blackhawk now. And again, he played for the Winnipeg Jets and the Whalers. So you see how that connects with these other stories. Let me make sure I'm still recording here. Man, as you can view those numbers right there. because I can't recapture this energy, okay? So it appears I am recording. They need to add a feature like with some kind of red light that lets you know you're recording, man. Or even if the volume's not playing, right? But look at CTE 53 and 17, just like Hole, the last name, 53 and 17. Look at that right there. And those are kind of like the opposite ciphers with both. Okay? And those are just the 4 ciphers I use to show you that these stories are by the numbers. And I'm not saying that CTE isn't a real thing. I'm not saying people don't really pass. That's not what my point is by doing this. It's just, if anything, we can focus on the language that we speak and these letters and the 26 letters in the alphabet. Okay, think about it, like spelling, spell casting, cursive, curses, magic. You get different meanings for different words. Good will mean bad. Bad will mean good. All of this stuff, right? All of the opposites. But anyways, we can expose this number system, and this code is one of the greatest things I've ever learned. And I think it does just that. Because you see CTE 53 and 17 like Hole. And now you get Hole. They said stage 2 CTE. And he died 2 years ago. Look at Blackhawks. You get 91 and 28. Just like Robert Marvin Hole, OC. OC usually means like some kind of honor with the country. I'll probably have to look at that. But you see how they add OC to the name there? It's like some kind of like military order with the country. Some kind of honor that they give the player or whatever. I'll go look at that here in a moment. But look at Blackhawks 91 and 28, like the full name, including the OC. You get 91 with the full name there. CTEs even got 28 like Blackhawks. And look, a 28-day span from his birthday to his death date, from start to end, a 28-day span. Look at that. And he dies just shortly after his birthday. Okay, you see it right there. Now I'll look up OC, and nicknamed the Golden Jet too, right? Don't forget that. So let's go over here. OC, meaning next to Canadian name. Officer of the Order of Canada. Like, why would he be labeled that? It's a hockey player. In Canada, OC is an abbreviation for the Officer of the Order of Canada. It's a post nominal that recognizes a person's outstanding service and achievement. What, like he's a part of the military or something? It's a character in fake sports. And don't get offended by that, because I grew up liking hockey too, and if you can gamble on any of this stuff, it's rigged, okay? If you're an adult and you still think sports is real, like, time to grow up, right? All the adults I know who are still into sports, it's because of the gambling, okay? If you're a child, it's understandable because, we're raised in a fake world, okay? And this just sounds like some kind of military honor, but the dude was a hockey player, okay? Here he goes right here again. He died in Wheaton, Illinois. Right here. Widely regarded as one of the greatest players of all time. His blonde hair, skating speed, end-to-end rushes, and ability to shoot the puck at very high velocity all earned him the nickname the Golden Jet. Okay? And that is kind of interesting with his son's birthday. Remember his son's birthday, 8-9, right here. And this is kind of connected to football as well with the CTE story. And remember how we started off, his son's got the birthday 2 days after Jalen Hurts, right? And 2 days after Kyler Murray. Even though Kyler Murray wasn't in the Super Bowl, he plays for the Cardinals, Birds, and Eagles, Birds, right? Same birthday as Jalen Hurts. Okay, that's just interesting. And remember this 8-9 birthday 2 days after Sidney Crosby. Don't forget that. 8-7. And remember the Makita connection, right? And Stan Makita died on Sidney Crosby's birthday. S with Stan, S with Sidney, right? And don't forget this birthday, the 20th day of the 5th month. They say this is his good friend who also died from CTE. But the 20th day of the 5th month is like 25, like we're in the year 25. So don't forget that. Okay. And check this out. This is really unarguable here. So Hull was one of the most prolific forwards in any NHL history, scoring 610 times over 16 seasons. So you get the 61 in there and you get the 16. And he wore 16 on his jersey with the Whalers. And he helped the Blackhawks win the Stanley Cup in 61. Okay? So you get the 16, the 61, the 610 like 61, and again over 16 seasons with Chicago, Hartford, and Winnipeg. And even trending is the Apple iPhone 16. Okay? Trending at the same time. And it looks like there's another plane collision up there to sync up with this Blackhawk Jet, former Blackhawk and Jet player here with that other plane story, right? With the helicopter. So if you look up above, an Apple iPhone 16, Apple unveils a souped up and more expensive version of its lowest priced iPhone. Trending, and you think of Apple, you think of the Big Apple, you think of New York. And remember that incident on the 11th day of the 9th month back in 2001. So you see a lot, and don't forget Arizona airplanes. Remember the Diamondbacks, Arizona Diamondbacks baseball team beat the New York Yankees after that event involving the two structures and the aircraft carriers. Did I say that right? Aircraft carriers. But check it out. So even they say this is a Hall of Famer right in the title. Okay? Hall of Fame equals 47. Okay? And this article, Wednesday, February 19th, 47 days after the birthday for Bobby Hull. Or, yeah, you see it right there? Right? February 19, 47 days after his birthday. Hall of Fame equals 47. Even Robert Hull equals 57, or excuse me, 50 in reduction. And Wednesday was the 50th day of the year. Let me go ahead and color in that background. Just like that. Boom. Okay? So he's born Robert Hull. And Robert Hull equals 50. And Wednesday was the 50th day of the year. Right? Okay, so I'll try to play this video again. I don't know if it's the same video. Maybe we'll play the last part of it. And that is if you could even hear it to begin with. And then we can probably bounce, y'all. Shout out to y'all if you made it.
Did Bobby Hull have
Oh, this
CTE?
might be a new video.
New report sheds light on NHL Hall of Famer's diagnosis. Chicago Blackhawks legend and Hockey Hall of Fame member Bobby Hull has been posthumously diagnosed with CTE, the brain disorder linked to repetitive head trauma in contact sports. Hull's widow, Deborah Hull, and Dr. Ann McKee, director of the Boston University CTE Center, confirmed that he had stage 2 of 4 CTE when he died at age 84 on January 30, 2023.
He died at 84. I didn't really catch anything big with that. But the story is in February, and February equals 48. All right. Which is the 84 reversed, if that means anything.
The two-time Hart Trophy winner and 12-time All-Star is the 17th known former NHL player and third member of the Hall of Fame, Henri Richard, Stan Mikita, to test positive for chronic traumatic encephalopathy.
There's that 3 again, and he's born on the 3rd.
Known former NHL.
Look at how the video clip is 1 minute 3 seconds, and his birthday was the 1st month, the 3rd day, like 103.
Player and third member of the Hall of Fame, Henri Richard, Stan Mikita, to test positive for chronic traumatic encephalopathy, according to the Boston-based.
The third member of the Hall of Fame to test positive for CTE, is that what they said?
Encephalopathy, according to the Boston-based Concussion
Wow.
Legacy Foundation. CTE can only be diagnosed through a posthumous examination.
And C is the 3rd letter of the alphabet. Born on the 3rd. They say the 3rd member of the Hall of Fame to test positive.
Of the brain. Hundreds of former NFL players have been diagnosed, including Frank Gifford, Ken Stabler, Junior Seau, and Aaron Hernandez.
You gotta love AI. Let's put concussion in the calculator real quick. And probably brain. Concussion. I don't see anything there that I can use on the fly. Brain. I don't see anything. So brain equals 91. Brain equals 91. Let's see if... Let's take a look here. Brain equals 91 like Blackhawks. 91 like Robert, Marvin, Hull, OC. You see that right there? 91, 91. Blackhawks got the B. Brains got the B. And brain equals 91. How about that? And let's look up this real quick. What does CTE stand for?
According to NHS, chronic traumatic encephalopathy, CTE, is a brain condition thought to be linked to repeated head injuries and blows to the head.
Head injuries.
It slowly
blows
gets
to
worse
the
over
head.
time and leads to dementia, but the right help and support can manage the symptoms.
And I think I entered this full term, and I don't think I caught anything, but let's enter it again. Oh, look, you get 161. Look at that. Chronic traumatic encephalopathy. Look at that. You get 161, like 61, and like 16. And remember the iPhone, Apple 16, iPhone trending. And remember he wore 16 for the Whalers. And remember he helped the Blackhawks win the Stanley Cup in 61. And remember 610 goals over 16 seasons with Chicago, Hartford, and Winnipeg. You see that right there? So you get that 161, you get the 16 and the 61 to sync up there. Right? So some undeniable connections if you ask me. And the teams he played for, the connection with basketball with Reggie Miller and that story. Reggie Miller trending right now. You can watch that video on my page. here, right? And we looked at Sidney Crosby, we looked at his son Brett. I showed you the connections with Stan Mikita and his death, connected to Brett Hull, Bobby Hull's son, and Sidney Crosby's birthday and all of that. So I'll just scan down this article and just see if anything else pops. But I think we got everything here, y'all. Okay, and so that's going to be the breakdown. And another one, okay, a lot of details. Everything you see, in my eyes, is undeniable with these connections. Okay, so let me know if you have anything to add in the comments, or let me know if I made a mistake somewhere. But I don't think these numbers lie whatsoever. And remember, brain equals 91 like Blackhawks, and the full name with the OC right there for Bobby Hull. And the 28-day span from his birthday to his death date, and then Blackhawks 28, CTE 28, really. And the connection with all the crashes lately with the aircrafts. And then that whale story trending. Whalers. Looks like he wore the 9 on the jersey as well. We have 9 date numerology. Or we had a 9 somewhere. There it is right there. He died on a 9 date numerology, okay? On January 3rd, 23. Or January 30th, 23. When you just add up those single digits, you get 9 right there. Okay? And look, his birthday before that death had 9 numerology as well. You see right there. So that 16 that I saw he wore. Oh, and look at that. He even died. Look at that, January 30. 1 plus 30 is 31. And that also connects with that Reggie Miller and Cheryl Miller jersey number that they wore. And remember, Cheryl Miller's got the same birthday as Bobby Hull. Wow. Okay, and look at Chicago Blackhawks. You get 137. That's the 33rd prime number. And they said something about him scoring 303 goals. I can't remember if it was like with the Blackhawks or whatever. But 303 is like 33. Yeah, we saw that somewhere. They mentioned something about 303 goals. Maybe it was with the Jets. It was with one of the teams, I think. But anyways, with that being said, I think we can leave it at that. I think I made my point. Researchers confirm Hall of Famer Bobby Hull had CTE when he died 2 years ago. All right. Shout out to y'all. I don't know if there's any NHL fans out there, but wanted to do the story for y'all. This is Daily Decodes 812. Just whoever's watching these videos, just know you got the information from me, okay? As I put these out there, I don't know, it's kind of my give back to the community, I guess. I'm putting this out into the universe. Hopefully it hits. Hopefully people learn from these. The world is definitely a stage. Shout out to y'all. Even that guy in the background, he has the 31 on the jersey there. You see that? And Bobby Hull's birthday, the 3rd day of the 1st month. All right. Wow, right? Okay. And then that connects with his death date as well. I think I got those dates right. Until next time, peace.